The twin moons of Leora, 9 glinted against the dark expanse of space, casting a silver light across the jagged cliffs of the planet's northern hemisphere. Amid the rocky terrain, a lone human soldier trudged carefully, his boots crunching against the sharp stones. Every sound echoed in the cold, thin air. He was on a mission he had volunteered for but had never truly imagined undertaking, an exploration of the forbidden alien ruins that had fascinated humanity for centuries. He had heard the stories, legends of the Veyari, a race said to be unmatched in both intelligence and beauty. Many explorers had ventured here, but none had returned with their sanity intact. Some didn't return at all. And yet, he pressed on, driven not by fame or greed, but by a sense of curiosity that had always defined him. The first encounter. The wind howled across the cliffs as he approached a massive structure half buried in the stone, a temple of black crystal, etched with alien glyphs that glimmered faintly under the moon's light. It was in perfect condition despite its age, as if untouched by time. As he stepped closer, a figure emerged from the shadows. Tall, lithe, and impossibly graceful, she moved as though the air itself bent to her will. Her skin shimmered faintly with a metallic hue, and her eyes glowed a soft lavender. She wore armor that seemed more ornamental than functional, yet it radiated authority. The human froze, sensing immediately that this was no ordinary alien. The Veyari had been described in myths as formidable, but nothing in his training had prepared him for this level of presence. She tilted her head, studying him with curiosity. "Who are you, human?" she asked, her voice melodic yet commanding. I'm an explorer," he replied cautiously. "I come in peace." Her gaze softened slightly, though her posture remained impeccable. "Few come here uninvited," she said. "Fewer leave without taking something with them, whether they wish to or not." The unexpected conversation. He stepped closer, trying to mask his awe. "I've heard of your kind. The Veyari, your intelligence, your strength." She arched an eyebrow, her expression unreadable. "And yet you approach me alone?" He nodded. Curiosity is stronger than caution. For a long moment, she simply studied him. Then, unexpectedly, she spoke. "I've never met a human who spoke to me as an equal." The human swallowed nervously. "I don't see the need for fear. You are extraordinary." Her lavender eyes widened slightly. She stepped closer, and the air around him seemed to hum with energy. "Extraordinary?" she asked, almost questioning. "Yes," he said softly, almost instinctively. "And beautiful." For the first time, her entire posture shifted. She stopped mid-step, blinking slowly. I've never heard that before." The words hung in the air, fragile and profound. The human realized that despite all her power, her authority, and her centuries of knowledge, no one had ever offered her this simple, genuine compliment. Her eyes softened, the glow in them flickering like a dying star. "Human, why would you say that?" "Because it's true," he said simply. "I've never seen anyone or anything like you." Trust and curiosity. Something unspoken passed between them. He saw in her eyes a vulnerability few had ever glimpsed. She gestured toward the temple, motioning for him to follow. Hesitantly, he complied. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of ancient metals and crystalline minerals. The walls pulsed faintly with a soft light, illuminating glyphs that seemed to rearrange themselves as they watched him move. "Most who enter here are either afraid or greedy," she said, her voice echoing softly. "I can sense your mind, human. You are neither." "I seek understanding," he replied. "Not power. Not knowledge to conquer, but knowledge to learn." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded slightly. "Then perhaps you are different from the rest." Perhaps you can see what others cannot." For hours, they walked through the ruins together. She showed him corridors filled with energy flows that resembled living rivers. She revealed glyphs that told the history of her people, wars, alliances, and the rise of the Veyari civilization. And yet, despite all the power she demonstrated, she seemed almost fragile when he occasionally complimented her insight or her grace. "You make it seem effortless," he said at one point. "All of this, your strength, your intelligence." She smiled faintly, emotion so rare it felt like witnessing a supernova. "It is not effortless. It is inherited. But compliments are rare. They are treasured." He nodded, realizing the magnitude of his words. In this place of unimaginable power, simple kindness resonated more than any display of force could. A test of courage. Suddenly, the temple trembled. Alarms, silent to human ears, but deafening to hers, activated. A section of the floor shifted, revealing a pit of crackling energy below. "You should leave," she said urgently. "This place is not safe for your kind." "I'm not leaving without you," he said firmly. Her expression shifted to one of surprise, then concern. "You are reckless," she said softly. "Few humans would show such courage or such foolishness." "Maybe it's both," he said with a small smile. "But I won't abandon you. Not after." He trailed off, unsure how to finish the sentence. After a long pause, she nodded. "Then we proceed together." They navigated the shifting floor, narrowly avoiding deadly energy bursts. He followed her instructions perfectly, moving as she guided him, until they reached the central chamber, a space filled with a pulsating crystalline core. Its light bathed her in hues of lavender and gold. "You are not like the others," she murmured, almost to herself. "Most would have fled. Or fallen." "I told you," he said softly. "I seek understanding and truth." Her gaze softened, and she studied him intently. "And perhaps," she whispered, "truth is what you have brought me as well." The revelation. At the heart of the chamber, she placed a hand on the crystalline core. Energy surged through her, illuminating patterns that had been invisible until now. The human watched, amazed, as her form glimmered like starlight, yet she remained grounded, serene. "You see," she said, turning to him, "all of this power, and yet, a word from you can stop me in my tracks." "You deserve to hear it," he replied. "Not just power, not just knowledge, but beauty, in every sense." She stepped closer, her eyes locking with his. "I've never felt so seen," she admitted. "Your words, they have weight. They carry a truth no one else has ever offered." "I mean every word," he said. "You are beautiful not just in form, but in mind, in courage, in the way you care for your people." Her expression shifted to something softer, almost human. For centuries, she had wielded power, commanded armies, and enforced obedience, yet never had someone acknowledged her in such a profound, honest way. I've never heard that before," she whispered again, the repetition a testament to its impact. "And now you have," he said gently, "a bond beyond words." They remained in the chamber for hours, talking, not about war or conquest or knowledge, but about life, curiosity, and the universe beyond their worlds. She asked questions about humanity, about what it meant to feel, to care, to exist. He answered with honesty, unflinching. "You are unlike anyone I have ever met," she said finally. "Perhaps the universe is kinder than I imagined. And perhaps humans are braver than you thought," he replied. They shared a quiet laugh, the sound echoing through the crystal halls. In that moment, a bond had formed, a connection deeper than language, beyond duty, beyond species. He had given her something she had never known she wanted, and she had shown him a glimpse of a civilization he had only dreamed of. The departure. When it was finally time to leave, she escorted him back to the cliffs where he had first arrived. The twin moons hung low, casting silver light on the rugged landscape. "Will I see you again?" he asked. She paused, considering. "Perhaps," she said. "But remember, the words you speak carry power. They can stop me in my tracks, move me in ways nothing else can. Use them wisely." "I will," he promised. "And I'll remember you always." She watched him board his shuttle, her eyes lingering on him as it rose into the night sky. For the first time in centuries, she felt seen, understood, and beautiful. And somewhere deep within, she realized that a single human's words could change not just a moment, but an entire lifetime. The end.